Oh,
And
Yeah.
welcome to another show. There's a lot of connections with HIV as well, isn't there? Which again, Fauci was in charge of. And
yes.
anybody who knows the debacle around Judy Mikovits, who was
Yeah.
one of the research directors under
Yeah.
Fauci.
Yeah.
And there was all kinds of stories where they said that isolated the HIV virus, and
Yeah.
then Fauci deliberately put it off so that they could patent it for the US
Yeah.
pharma industry and things like that. But again,
Yeah.
it makes you wonder how much of that is, it's like, again, it's like embellishing the fantasy, So
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
HIV significant to what's going on at the moment at all?
It's sort of like a practice run almost, like for this, like and many of similar things, like to this, like they've
Same
used,
cast of characters as well, isn't it?
yeah, and they've used like sort of dodgy, sort of indirect sort of tests that's, and like they've the HIV, like, and AIDS, like which is obviously when you actually have like the symptomatic sort of like disease, like it's kind of it was just a collection of all kinds of like sort of symptoms and sort of like this AIDS syndrome, similar to like with like COVID-19, like it's like it's a collection of like non-specific sort of symptoms that like that could be caused by any number of like sort of toxins and things like that, and also due like the two, I mean, the two main like sort of underlying causes of diseases that are like sort of toxicity, like poisoning and deficiency, sort of just like the lack of nutrients, for instance, like like could be like deficiency of oxygen. Like obviously that's that's a really serious one, which you'll start like feeling ill very very quickly, like so like you have a combination of those, and like then you end up with disease, like like and you do, and like I think that can pretty much account for pretty much like most of the diseases without having to invoke some mysterious like invisible like virus or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, the whole debate about medical understanding
Yeah.
is bizarre. You find yourself going down a few rabbit holes, but there's
Yes.
like, I know, like Ian, who we have from our group,
Yeah.
who's done a lot of research. I think I mentioned this before, and
Yeah.
the way that he got interested in the first place in
Yeah.
disease in general was the fact that he had about, I think there was 4 or 5 of his relatives, who like
Yes.
all but one of them smoked, and that
Yeah.
was the one who didn't smoke was the one who died of lung cancer, and
Yeah.
that got him interested in it. And the more
Yeah.
he looked into it, the more he realized that
Yes.
that these diseases seem to coincide with EMF.
Yes.
With the
Yes.
things like the introduction of radio frequency and
Yeah.
television and all the rest of it, and it's
Yes.
we live in a
Absolutely. I
bizarre
mean,
world.
yeah. I mean, then there's definitely like a lot of evidence to support that as well, like
Mhm.
that that EMF like sort of radiation
Mhm, mhm.
is toxic and does like cause like and
Mhm.
there's evidence that it was involved, like it was one of the major factors in the
Spanish flu.
Spanish flu, like
Yeah.
like because that was when like radio communications sort of first
Right.
kind of went worldwide around that
That's right.
time, like and I
Mhm.
think there, I mean, I believe there were other factors involved as well. It was like a multiple factors coming together, like, and wasn't one single thing. But
Mhm.
like, but I don't believe actually there was an actual virus involved. Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
there was the I think there was the radio communications,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
And also there was like a massive like vaccination program as
Yeah,
well.
That was it. It's
A
funny that, isn't
meningitis
it?
vaccination program.
Just seemed to coincide with it, funny enough, wasn't it? Almost as if it like sort of this this Hegelian dialectic thing. And it makes you wonder what kids are going to be taught in the future, about things. Because I know, like, sort of Chris in particular is into things like permaculture and, we're all getting more into, like alternative methods of healing and things like that.
Yeah.
And there's a school, a local community that we just started off, and the kids are starting home education and learning about things like the kind of things that Chris is into, permaculture and all that kind of stuff.
Practical, useful things. Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
Yes. Origin. Yeah, exactly. Things that you can
okay.
use instead of things that are used against you,
Yeah.
And they'll do things like they'll go out on little foraging trips and all the rest of it. And there was, it started off where there was only, I think there was about 5 or 6 kids, and it was 1 day a week. And I think now it's 2 days a week, and they've got like a backlog of kids waiting, and it's the way it should be, And like I say, Chris would, Chris is into permaculture and all the rest of it. So what kind of things would you be teaching kids, Chris? What kind of things would you tell them rather than...
Well, it's the fun of growing things, but also, but most importantly, it's being in contact with the earth and nature, and observing how the planet, how the earth, and all the flora and fauna actually work. When you look at a heap of compost and you see all the tiny little things, and the more you look, the more you see all kinds of little, and you get a microscope, and it never ends. And I've even heard that Dr. Bruce Lipton, he got a electronic microscope, and he just felt it's just endless. The deeper you could get, the more you could see. And who's not to say it's the same with the cosmos as well, and all on different frequencies. So it's like we're connecting with these different frequencies, and we depend on each other. What we find, what's happening now in this great reset thing is they're isolating us, that they're cutting us off. So they're saying, don't go near people because you might get an infection. Don't speak to people, you might hear something. Yes, and all of this hygiene, extreme hygiene and everything. It's not good. We need to be in contact with, to keep our immune system strong and healthy. It needs to be learning every day. It's a bit like exercising your muscles. Your immune system needs to be learning, how can I fight this? How can I fight that? Otherwise it becomes lazy and we have a weak immune system.
Because I met Spanner, didn't I, as well?
Spanner,
Yeah. We were on the other week, Will, and it was like all that, you wouldn't expect Chris to know somebody called, he calls us, my friend Spanner, Me and Gemma creased up, but so Spanner's into his, sort of into permaculture and that as well, isn't he? And the deeper aspects of the universe and all the rest of it.
He's got his thing called the Recalibrator, and he'll be at Ropner Park this weekend showing his Recalibrator, which
is that, Chris? Is that local?
Ropner Park is in Stockton. It's my local park, which is just
about... When's that, did you say?
Sunday. Yeah.
What time?
What time? I think it's from 11 o'clock. There's a food fair on, and he's doing his Recalibrator, and sometimes we do our stand in the park there, so I might go along and do that as well with my little signs here, if they allow me.
What, your little steins?
Yeah, these signs,
these signs, right?
Signs.
I thought you said steins. I was going to say you're brewing beer now.
No.
Are they the signs behind you there?
Yeah, they're the yellow placards that you see.
The roundabouts.
Rebels on roundabouts. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got a set of 10 of them, And last Friday,
I did that on Friday as well. Actually.
Yeah, I was just
You
going to
did,
say,
yeah.
now, Will, you were there you were at the run on Sunday as well, weren't you?
That's right, on the Great North Run. Like, yeah, and we kind of did that photo bomb the Great North Run. Like, yeah, and actually live on like
BBC.
on BBC.
Yes.
When you say that, BBC.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. I saw the clips.
Yeah, I saw the clip. Oh, quickly move out.
Oh yeah,
they quickly tried to pan away, but they missed it. Yeah.
No, we got in there. Like,
you got in there, yeah.
I think for a good 10 seconds. I think, like,
excellent.
So I
well
mean,
well done, Jimmy, for initiating.
Yes, well done, Jim. Yeah,
it was
brilliant.
successful.
Well done, everybody, for being there. Yeah,
yeah, it was. That was a success. That one.
Mm-hmm. And then we followed that up, like a few of us out through the night, sort of sticking a few of these on bridges and like railings and stuff on roundabouts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So when the rush hour on Monday morning, like a lot of people were getting.
Did you do an inventory to see if there were many left, or?
I had a walk around like today to one of the bridges like near me, and they were all down, like but we didn't expect them to last that long. I know, like I went round like early on Monday morning, like around rush hour, and I saw the. The signs were still up then, like so they've done the job basically.
Brilliant.
Like
the
rush hour traffic would have seen it, like so.
I'll tell you what. Actually, there was something, I don't know what reminded us there, but I saw something on Facebook earlier where there'd been, I don't know where it was, but there was there'd been protesters had gone into a school. To serve notice on the headmaster or something, or the head teacher, and the head teacher or whatever had phoned the police saying that there's some anti-vaxxers coming in, and when the police came, they said they were like perfectly entitled to do it, and they would be perfectly willing to assist any others who wanted to serve notice. So
that's
well
the police.
done the police. Well done the police. Yeah. So when you talk about like these signs going up, it's like it's indicative of an awareness. There is an awareness, because people have got to be careful about this fear porn. It's like Chris was just mentioning earlier on about, what was that story you were saying, Chris?
Right. We've got in the Evening Gazette, which is the Teesside local propaganda rag, there was an article just around the corner from me here. They were saying that a man was spotted with a big knife or something like that, a big sword, climbing out of a window. An anonymous witness who remained silent said, and so the Gazette had the pictures of these like four coppers all dressed in army gear, with the weapons and everything, walking through the streets of Oxbridge. Armed response unit, because someone was spotted, and then they said, 4 individuals had been arrested. Well, and I even commented. I said, "Is this real, or is it exercise? Is it just propaganda?" And I know for sure. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is propaganda. This is a psyop to condition the public to think, there are these nutters around, and it's quite normal for paramilitary police to be walking around our streets because we know what's going to be happening. We know what's going to be happening in the next few weeks. Schools are going to go into lockdown because they're going to say there's a nutter outside with a knife or something. And lock the children in, lock them in their classrooms, terrify them, cut them off from communication with their parents, and then say, there's an emergency, you've got to get vaxxed or whatever, otherwise you'll die. Something like that.
Now this brings up a subject as well that that's close to all our hearts. Like we all know about a situation that's happened recently in a club where we go to. For people who don't know, we have a club where we'll probably get like 100+ people turn up every week. It's become a rallying point for the Northeast. And one of the things that's developed over the last few weeks, where a character turned up. I mean, we do get new characters like come into the area all the time, but one particular character called Paul. Now he was saying all the right things, you know, like coming in, like saying all the right words and all the rest of it. But what he was actually doing was he was basically recruiting some of the more naive members of the group into basically hate speech. There was one of the members who he'd actually approached asking if they wanted to buy a gun. Things like crossbows and bows and arrows and things like this. Now,
I didn't know that.
Now, at the protest a couple of weeks ago, this character Paul was seen, and I've seen the footage myself, actually liaising with the police. You know,
I
like
saw
sort
that.
of where there is no denying it. And what's going to happen when you're talking about, you know, like the lockdowns and the kids being frightened into, you know, like sort of where they're using this again, this fear porn. What they're going to do is they're going to use this excuse to close down our club that we go to, and they're going to come in and they're going to say, well, the reason we're closing this down is because there's been hate speech and people, you know, like sort of organise an act of rebellion with armed responses and things like that. The word has to go out there. The police, the authorities have done this, not us. We are peaceful. We are a peaceful gathering, and we were infiltrated by this Paul, used in whatever category they used him for, whether he was an undercover policeman, whether he was someone that coerced with promises of, you know, like rewards for or leniency or something. I don't know.
I'll just ask Chris first of all, did you get your car back? All right, okay. Chris was arrested and had his car impounded, so he's only just got that back now. And Phil was actually tasered and arrested. Twice, yeah. So, like I say, a big round of applause for these lads. So you'll see them. Now, also another person who helped in this was Paul. So he actually rescued them. And Paul's wanting to have a little word about the bus. Okay?
Good evening, Newcastle. Let's make some noise. Come on! Yo. Anybody from Hartlepool tonight in the house? Yeah? Woo. What about Middlesbrough? No, Middlesbrough. Sunderland, any Mackems in? Any Mackems? Come on, big shout out for the Mackems. There's no dividing. Anyway, guys, what about London the weekend? Hands, show a hand to who was in London the weekend. This is, guys, you want determination, heart and courage. We face this head on. We do not surrender. We face it. We face it like men and women. We do this for our children. We never ever surrender, people. We have got the power. This tyrannical government, they're pushing this agenda so fast now, and the window of opportunity is narrowing by the day. We the people have to stand for the sake of our children and future generations to come. So we've got this tomorrow. We've got the vaccine bus in Peterlee, the vaccination bus. The kill bus is turning up in Peterlee tomorrow. So we're looking for numbers. I do realise it's short notice, but what we're looking for is to go down. I'm going to take the megaphone down, make a bit of noise, get people in the crowd, in the queue, sorry, and we're going to start asking questions. We have to now hit these places. We are now inside an information war, okay? Simple as that, guys, and we have to have the courage now to face these people head on. It really is as simple as that, okay? So we stand for our children, and we never ever surrender. So tomorrow, Peterlee, 2 p.m, I'm going to give the, I can't get this up on the big screen, so I'm going to give you the, I'm going to give you guys the address. I don't know the area, but it's Peterlee Castle Dean Shopping Centre. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but this is our time now to make a stand. These people are on our doorsteps, so we stand and face it. All right, and we get down there and we start asking questions. I'll take the megaphone down, we're going to be noisy, I'll take the PA system, and we're going to have a party down there. Simple as that, guys. Just an hour, 2 hours, let's go, come on! Woo! Yeah! No surrender, we never ever surrender. We are patriots, and we will fight this to the very end. It's as simple as that, we will fight this like men and women of the truth. Thank you, Newcastle!
Thank you, lads, heroes, one and all. Right, so I don't know whether anyone wants to take a little break at the moment, or whether we just want to crack on with more speakers. Who shouted break? Right, okay, we'll have a little break to get one of you. Oh, hang on a second, two chicks, one wants to say something.
But the word has to go out there that at no time or any of the people in our group, in our community, at no time was anyone ever looking for guns or advocating violence. This has all been deliberately stirred up by the authorities, by the people who are distributing this fear porn. So let the word go out far and wide. So this is the kind of thing we've got to watch out for.
And Paul is off the scene now. He's disappeared.
Yeah,
he's not.
funny
He's
how
not,
we just dropped out.
He's not come back to answer for himself or anything.
Yeah.
And what was? I mean, I know you were suspicious of him right from the start, Charlie. I thought, oh, he's rallying people up. He's doing good, but he wasn't. He focused on the likes of Vaughan, who's a rising star. He's a fantastic guy. He's only 24, 25, but every week he was like blowing smoke up his arse, saying, "Oh, what a fantastic guy this is! You know, I love this guy. Yeah. He's a star and everything like that." And it was Vaughan who pretty much who was said allegedly organised the Newcastle one on the 14th, which was a huge success. There was like a few thousand people then. But he was arrested the night before. Something to do with knives or something like that, which is complete nonsense.
Do you know what happened there as well? Vaughan got a phone call from Paul. Saying, well, can I come round to yours? And Vaughan had said, oh, well, I'm round at my mum's or my friends or something like that. So Paul had said, oh, well, whereabouts are you? What's the postcode? And, like, sort of, then he asked, like, for a photograph of the house or something like that.
Well, I think he went on Google Maps, on Google Street View or something, and said, is this it? Like, and then he, this is what I've heard myself. It's like, and then apparently this changed his mind and decided he wasn't going to stay with him that night. And then a couple of hours later, the police because nobody else knew where Vaughan was, like, and
that's right.
and then the police came and arrested him, like, so
So let the word go out. These are the dirty tricks they're playing. These are the dirty, stinking little tricks that they're playing.
And they're trying to stir up all this, like, because as you say, Charlie, like everyone that I know who goes along to the club, like, we're all like peaceful people. None of us want to see any violence.
That's right.
And like,
I felt very uncomfortable, like sort of when they were getting up, particularly when they were getting up and filming right up, like the show was like some kind of Beer Kelly rally from the 1930s, and it was. It was very distasteful, and I didn't like it at all. And it's and there were certain people like Eddie, like sort of who would come and who would redress that and would say, look, we're not about that. We're about peaceful protest. We're about like sort of raising the vibration. We're about defeating this fear porn, these ridiculous stories of rampage and it was about peace and and unity as well. Exactly.
Not we don't want to like increase this divide and like and so I mean it's it's good that you mentioned Eddie, because obviously he's had a lot to do with like an upcoming event, hasn't he? Like he's that's
right. Well, we've got an event on the 25th in Newcastle, 1:00, Lees's Park. Anyone, please come along from anywhere. And if you've got drums, particularly, we want people to make a noise. Yeah. So I know I can think straight off the top of my head. I'm thinking of Jeff and Julie. They've got drums. And anyone else who, like sort of wants to come along and make the that's what we want. That's what we want.
Are you bringing your guitar? Like,
well, mate, sort of. No. I'll save the Geneva Conventions against that, Oh, yeah. Chris is just doing his.
It's queuing up a video.
No, that's just Eddie promoting the 25th. I'll play that at the end. You want to see it now? Okay.
Well, let's see it now.
Yeah, go on.
Okay.
Yeah.
A nut job. Well, how about calling me a fortune teller for predicting the future? Comply in Newcastle United. March with us, 1 p.m, Saturday the 25th of September from Leazes Park. We are stronger together.
Yeah, I've got a lot of respect for Eddie. He's gone to a lot of effort to speak to the police, to arrange to get agreements with them.
Yeah.
And these have all been minuted and everything. So I've got every confidence that the police will behave and we will behave.
Well, it was Eddie as well who had like the innovative idea of when he was doing the protest from his gym, where he was basically people were coming and he was saying they weren't exercising, they weren't paying them. That was it, and they were just contributing towards a protest.
Yeah.
So it's like sort of, I mean, for people who don't know Eddie, I mean, he's been like a giant in the bodybuilding industry and the like sort of the strongman industry, but that's not who he is now. He's much more than that. He's a giant really in the freedom movement nationally, not just locally. He's done a hell of a lot, and
he's put on buses for us down to London.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yes, if it hadn't been for Eddie, there would have been lots of us would have missed those protests. You're right, Will. That's right. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. He was busing at least 30, maybe 50 of us, 2 buses at one time.
That's right.
Yeah, to London. So massive job he's done, and he gave a very emotional and stirring talk at our meeting place a couple of weeks ago, talking about how some of his good friends had committed suicide because they're so much dependent on their daily workout, and it was denied to them, and they just couldn't cope. They had mental health problems. And I think there were about 3 or something like that. And he started to look into the national statistics, and he realized there was something definitely wrong, and that's when he started his campaigning. So
a lot of people have come to the debate from different directions, I mean, Will's come to it from like a medical direction. I think a lot of we've been cynical about the way society's run for a number of years, but it's really like, I suppose, since this ridiculous situation kicked off, we realised the depth and the breadth of the corruption. We knew it was corrupt, but it's like everything. I mean, you could put the tagline, I think, to society could be, everything is a lie.
Yes.
Everything is a lie.
Yeah.
Can I just say that potentially what the thing is when you're talking about these multi-frequency broadcasts, we only see like sort of the side that they're using against us. But as we know, you know, like sort of frequency healing, frequency awareness, you know, like maybe these towers could be used in a beneficial way, you know, where they're efficacious rather than, you know, just
That's
a thought.
interesting because I have actually seen videos where they've said that basically that's what they've done. Like, you know, like, you know, when Donald Trump was talking about
I thought you were going to get it the right answer.
Kofefe, like,
Yeah.
apparently that's referring to, is it cobalt, vanadium, iron, like, you know,
Right.
so it's like an alloy that is able to somehow neutralize these harmful frequencies of, like, you know, the
Yes.
letter and the number, and actually turn them into sort of healing
Like
sort
benign,
of frequencies. Apparently, like, you know, and I think there is a patent for this sort of device that you can, you know, made from this alloy, like, and you can place that, you know, in or around these like towers, and it will actually neutralize the harmful frequencies and actually convert them into sort of actually healing frequencies, like, you know, but I don't know how true that is, but like, you know, it's, you know,
it's out there, it's a possibility, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a possibility, like, and I think there is a patent for it as well, like, you know, so
it's interesting, isn't it, about like when we're talking about going down rabbit holes and all the rest of it, how we've talked about it before, you know, and you wonder how far, and I'll say it again, everything is a lie.